So you don't have an art problem, you have a marketing problem. So let's talk about what that even means and how to fix it. Hi, I'm Sema Martin. I'm a professional pet portrait artist and I have been for the last 10 years. So when it comes to actually marketing your art, which means like sharing it with people, trying to make sales, most of the time it isn't because your art isn't good enough, it's because you don't know how to sell it. And that's completely normal, like that's okay. People aren't just naturally born knowing how to sell their art. It's something that you can learn, it's a skill that you can develop, and that's exactly what I have been doing the last 10 years of developing this skill in learning how to sell my pet portrait work. So most artists think that, oh, I just need to get better, I need to learn how to do my art better before it will sell more. And trust me, I used to think the same thing. I literally never thought that anyone would pay for my artwork, which is why I went into engineering in the first place. Like, I felt like I was good at art, but I wasn't good enough to sell it. I wasn't good enough to ask for money. And it wasn't until a friend actually offered to pay me that I even considered like selling my artwork in the first place. So I completely understand where you're coming from if you're just starting out selling your work, or if you've made a few sales but you're not really sure how to price, whether to increase your price, whether people would even pay your prices, you know. It's a huge thing to sort of like learn and jump into, especially when you are an artist. Like, those kind of things don't necessarily come naturally. So I managed to become a full-time pet portrait artist within 6 months of selling my first pet portrait commission. And I had like no art degree, no business experience. It was literally through learning, through trial and error, learning from other people, learning from books, materials, anything I could get my hands on, because I was desperate to make it work. And honestly, it is something that you can learn as well. So it's more of like actually learning how to sell your artwork rather than how to be a better artist. So why your clients might not be buying in the first place is because clients don't necessarily look at your artwork in the way you do as an artist as well. They're not the ones drawing it, they're not the ones creating it, they're not as like critical as you are as well. They're looking at it from an emotional point of view. You know, does that look like their pet? Or like you know, they have a German Shepherd as well, and you've just drawn a German Shepherd, and they're like, oh, I can just imagine a drawing of my German Shepherd like that. They're coming from it from an emotional point of view rather than a skill level. They're not looking at it and thinking, oh, that fur line is out of place, or that's not, you know, exactly the same as a photo, or those colors are a bit off. That is not what they're thinking at all. It's purely how it makes them feel. And that's how most art buyers buy art, is how it makes them feel rather than from a technical point of view. So you don't need to be the best artist to start and get paid for your artist. You just have to know how to get that emotion going, how to tell people about your artwork in the way that they would see it, not in the way that you would see it. That's the difference. So I started posting on social media, and the first things that I used to talk about really was the pet itself. That's something that people tend to miss. So I didn't talk about what color pencils I used, I didn't talk about what paper I was using. I was talking about the pet. I was talking about the pet's name, what the pet liked to do, like how they found the pet, how they, you know, whether it was adopted or bought or rescued or anything like that, like interesting things about the pet that other people can relate to, other pet owners can relate to and enjoy reading about. Because if you have a pet, if you've rescued a pet, you'd want to know about more rescue stories, wouldn't you? If you've bought a pet from a puppy and you've brought them up, you know, you'd want to know more about those stories. So sharing the story of the pet evokes that emotion that the client is going to relate to, not what color pencils or paints or what techniques you've used. Like, that's what an artist would be interested in, not a commission client, not someone that wants to buy the artwork, because they're buying it for the emotional connection, not for the technical element to it. So make sure that when you're doing your social media posts or posters or your website, make sure you're talking about your artwork from the client's point of view rather than from your point of view. So especially things like on your website, talk about you're an artist, yes, but why are you drawing pets? You love pets, you have pets, you have this emotional connection to animals. Like, talk about that rather than, oh, I've been an artist for, I don't know, 5 years and I've done this degree and then I do this niche and I do oil painting and acrylic. It's like, those are all great things, but they're not necessarily going to interest someone in wanting to commission their dog, if you get what I mean. So things like your page might look more like a hobbyist rather than a business. So you have to try and get yourself out of that mindset of, oh, I'm just posting my art, I don't really care, or I sort of do care, like I want people to see it, but I'm not really caring about what I say or what I do or what I post. That not caring, that sort of strategy of just randomly posting, randomly saying stuff is probably why you're not getting as many sales as you think that you could. If you sort of take yourself out of the thing of, this is my artwork, it's personal to me, and think of it like a business of, this is a product that I need to sell, then that's how you can get into the mindset of the client. If you think of your artwork as more of a product rather than a piece you've spent 20 hours on and you've poured your heart and soul into, and yes, those are facts, that's exactly what you've done, but it's not necessarily things that a client can connect with. So it's more about being just very clear as to who you're even speaking to. So I personally like to write down who my audience is. Who am I actually trying to speak to? If they were in front of me now, what would they look like? How old would they be? What's their income like? What are their interests? You know, actually write this down. This person that you're trying to sell to, that's your ideal client, that's going to absolutely love your artwork and pay for it and take it home and treasure it for forever. What do they look like? What do they do? What are their interests? What do they like to do on the weekend? What do they do for work? And those kinds of thoughts is going to help you connect to them. It's going to help you speak to them rather than just shouting out to the universe, I used pan pastels for this drawing. Okay, not many people will actually care about that unless they're another artist wanting to learn more about pan pastels. They're not your target audience. So it's really more about like showing personality, showing more about what reflects with your target client. I call it target client because it's who you want to speak to. So pretend you're speaking to them every time you do a post, when you're writing things on your website, when you're speaking on a video, when you're making a poster, anytime you're trying to do outreach, trying to find a client, pretend you're already speaking to them. What would they want to know? What would they want to hear? What would interest them about your artwork? And speaking about your art from their point of view rather than from yours will make so much difference in terms of attracting the right people, because it's also not necessarily about numbers. You don't need to attract millions of people, you just need a few hundred, and that's you booked up, a whole year. There's only so many you can paint and draw in the first place, so you only need a few really interested, excited people to see your post, to see your poster, to see you at an event. You know, you only need a few of them to actually see you, to engage with you, to be excited about your work in order to buy from you. So it's really important to think about who are they and how you're going to speak to them. So make sure that you're very clear. Everything you say is clear. Clear pricing. This is how much I cost. A clear process. This is how you can commission me. A clear offer. I do these 3 sizes. You know, just be very clear, very straightforward from their perspective. If you're a buyer, what do you need to know? And be consistent. So regularly posting on Instagram so people can find you. Regularly emailing your email subscribers so they can remember who you are, and commission you and reply to those emails. Regularly putting up posters. You know, things get taken down, things get missed. Keep iterating your posters. Oh, that poster didn't necessarily work. No one's commissioned me through that poster in that cafe. Try a different layout, try a different look, try different examples, try a different headline. Like, just because you've done it once doesn't mean that that's it. You don't have to ever think about it ever again. You're going to get a stream of commissions. It doesn't necessarily work like that. Sometimes you do actually have to try things multiple times before it works. And that's okay. That's exactly what business is just trying things until you find the right thing that works for you. And then also connection. So talk about pets, talk about their stories, talk about their owners. You know, I love to talk about my my clients and the owners, and like, you know, oh, the owner got it from this place, or they rescued it from this center, and they've had it for 20 years. And it's just so important to them as well. I think my clients love to read the posts that I do about their commissions. They share it with their friends. They share it with their family. Like, they help me market. They help with the outreach because I'm saying such nice things. I'm talking about them. I'm giving their story a voice. So they're enjoying that, as well as new clients are reading it and connecting with it. They might have a similar story that they want to tell through my artwork. So it's really important to tell as many stories as you can. Ask them. Ask your clients, where did you get your pet? Tell me more about your pet. Tell me funny stories about your pet. Like, literally ask your clients these things. Also ask, you know, can I share these stories as well? And use those as your captions in your post. Like, they're perfect. You don't have to think about it then. You're posting things that people can connect to and people can enjoy reading. So it's really important to make sure that you're marketing in the right way. You're speaking to your client rather than from your point of view. And it's really important as well to make sure that you're being very clear and consistent with what you're saying as well. If you want to know more about how to market your artwork and how to grow your pet portrait business confidently and successfully, then you can click the link below and download your free prospectus brochure for the business of pet portraits that I've created over the last 2 years to help artists just like you. It contains everything that you need to know to start and grow your business, your pet portrait business. And I will see you next time.